Hey, for returning in preparation for the Marco Digital Voice Net at the top of the hour. And here I am, Keith. Still there?
Yeah, Jay, I'm here. This is November 3 India Mike with A4FL.
Thank you, Keith. Um, sorry about I saw the comment about NetLogger. I realize it's just Windows-based app. I just assume most people use their computers and not their iPhones for these purposes, or if they use an iOS, but unless you intend to mean Apple operating systems. Um, we can also submit questions by email on the air. I'll monitor my email over. And 3 a.m. AA4FL. Just talking about tomorrow, Keith. I appreciate your feedback, but we'll be in Octopus juggling many different tasks tomorrow. I'm sure. I can certainly bring up my email over. A4FL and 9OML. If I can check in, sir. Good morning. Good morning, Howard. I kind of lost Keith there. I will check you in, and I also see here that we have Hilton. So I'm going to check Hilton in. I've had to change my computer here to my desktop because for some reason the version of BlueDVD wasn't working on my laptop. So I think we're doing okay. You might want to comment on how I sound here. Over. You sound perfect to me. Fine, just fine. Sound totally normal. I don't have a computer at the moment, but I overheard some conversation earlier in the week about Windows. On some of the push where they switched to something in the Windows world updated, and it was giving some people trouble. I don't remember which of the computer things, but it was one of the sticks or plug-in interfaces. So I don't know if that's a clue or a red herring, but that's what I heard. Yeah, I'm not sure of the source, Howard. AA4FL. For some reason, it's not. BlueDB wasn't working properly on the laptop, but I do. I did install a newer version. Okay. Hilton is not going to be with us. He says here on the IM from NetLogger. He started the broadcast. That's great. That's very nice of him, and nice to have the recording. Anyway, we're getting ready to do our grand rounds on the internet tomorrow on HF. And the first time I'm going to try using NetLogger, and I'm going to have another professor with me who's going to answer some questions and try to figure out the logistics of it. Over. And I know here. Is there a way to monitor that? I do not have an HF radio. So is it being internet rebroadcast or memorialized to YouTube or something like that? Just curious. Very good question, Howard. Thank you for asking. Now, there is a live audio stream, marcoaudio.net, MARCO audio.net, and you should be able to hear the live stream as it's received by one of our members, N5 RTF, in New Orleans, over. What's the time on that? same time as this net. It will be 1500 hours UTC. Well, I'll try and give it a listen before the Bears game. We play the Packers this week, so it's sort of a religious holiday in Chicago. This is N9OML. I'll stand by, let you take other check-ins, and I'll hang tight from the beginning of the net. Thank you. Thank you, Howard, and good morning, Andy. WJHB, I'll check you in. I see on the instant message window that you're here with us. I'm glad you could join us today. Any other early check-ins for the Marco DVNet, the Medical Amateur Radio Council net that starts at the top of the hour, so make your call to who will be net control, which is me, AA4FL. Cutie Four Eyes, I'm here, struggling with audio problems on the computer. I'm here. Your transmissions are nice and clear, Jack. Thanks for letting us know you're here. I do have NetWalker up, and I have 6 check-ins listed so far. So we're going to be having a net here at the top of the hour, the Medical Amateur Radio Council. For those of you that are listening and are not members of Marco, you're welcome to participate. Feel free to listen. Feel free to check in. It's nice to have a check-in so that we can give you the opportunity to either contribute or just know how many are here being involved through listening. Helps us to shape our discussions on what we present. And technically lately, a lot of that's been COVID related, but no, that's not going to go on forever. So we encourage everyone to ask questions of what you would expect from the Medical Amateur Radio Council and what we can discuss both internally as a club and externally as members of a QuadNet public. This is AA for us. I'll wait one. Any other early check-ins for the net, which will start here at the top of the hour?
This is N5 RTF.
Thank you, Chip. N5 RTF, thank you for joining us. Howard was just asking about your audio stream, and he plans on using it tomorrow to listen to the regular grand rounds on the airnet. Over.
Jay, I will be using it tomorrow because I get my source from the SDR, Kiwi SDR. Today, though, I have the laptop, but I forgot to bring the dongle. So without that, I can't access the source stream, and I can't then put it back out on the internet or record it. Sorry, not today. N5 RTF.
Oh, I understand, Jeff. I guess you're not going back to the house to get it for tomorrow?
Well, I don't need the dongle for single sideband. I can get that off of the Kiwi SDR net. But to access the digital information, I have to have that dongle that you use for what is the ICOM source D-Star dongle. I don't have that here with me.
QSL, thank you for the explanation, Jeff. It'll work out fine for the Hilton. We've got a YouTube recording going today. Tomorrow, it'll be the only game in town, and there will be a demand for that recording tomorrow. There will be interested parties beyond the amateur radio world. I know at the university level in Gainesville, but hopefully that will find a wider audience. We're trying, I know there's kind of a diatribe from one of our members about trying different things, but tomorrow, as I was explaining, I'll probably be an octopus trying out many different modalities of getting questions back between email and instant message window and NetLogger and relayed questions. It's going to be quite an adventure. N5RTF, AA4FL.
Where are you going to be running it from? Which of your QTHs are you going to be at tomorrow?
Well, I'm actually going to be operating from the club station at the University of Florida. I am the trustee, and I looked up the rules, so as a control operator, I can certainly have a guest answer the questions. But I'll have full monitors there and high-speed internet, and no problem on the technical end. Probably using much less features than we can do from the technology if we ultimately decide to do something similar to that. But the main goal was just to offer a continuation of what was started in the ether. I'm going to drop conversation here and start the next chip, and we'll pick up the conversation in a little bit. This is AA4FL, starting calling the Marco, the Medical Image Radio Council Digital Voice Net to commence for today. I am operating out of my primary QTH in Hawthorne, Florida, eastern side of Electron County. And Chip and I don't know about Chip, but N5RTF was at an LSU Florida football game at noon, so we may have time constraints of non-ham radio nature today, although I think Chip is probably more of an Ole Miss fan. But as you can tell, we're birds of a feather in the Southeastern Conference, and we're adding more birds of a feather to the conference. Please take one, drop one. Sorry for digressing about football, but as you can tell, our net is vibrant. We're here to discuss medical topics primarily, but we're not limited to that. As Medical Image Radio Council members, our members consist of individuals in the health professions, but also those interested in the health professions. And of course, many of us have interests other than just that alone. We have many other interests in amateur radio that are pertinent, and using the QuadNet array as a transcoding mechanism for having the Tower of Babel issue be solved on the digital mode, where we can speak to each other paramount in our use of this net problem. So far, the early check-ins are myself, Jack, KD4IZ, N3IM, N9OML, DY2BBQ, WJ8B, N5RTF. I will be opening up for regular check-ins in a few minutes. We're going to have the opportunity here for individuals that might have emergency traffic, have limited emergency traffic, priority traffic right now to go ahead and make a presentation. Anyone having traffic of that nature, address it to Net Control AA4. I'll proceed. Okay, nothing heard. Anyone with the need to be a short-term operator today and make a presentation, before having to depart, go ahead and make your call this time.
Good morning, Jay and Nanette. This is Steve K3FZT in Philadelphia. I need to be in and out today. It's the Scouts Jamboree on the air, and I've agreed to be a contact station for them, so I need to get back to a mix of fusion and 40 meters, uh, sublime to the ridiculous, and I'll let you decide for you which is which. 73, everybody. K3FZT clear.
Well, thank you for stopping by, Steve, and I'll call you in order if you're available at the time to make a presentation, and if not, I'll keep on trying back and appreciate you doing what you're doing. The Scouts on the air, it's an important aspect of amateur radio, and there's been some other groups doing it today nationally, so thank you for your participation. Are there any stations that are mobile that might not be in range later that need to check in? Go ahead and do so at this time. No one else heard. Any stations that would like to check in, whether you're Marco members or not Marco members, make your call to net control AA4FL.
This is W4WWM with a check in. I won't be with you guys all net long, but I want to at least check in and say good morning to everyone checking in. W4WWM.
Yeah, well, it's nice to have you with us. Thanks for stopping by. Got a quick question from a coordinated array standpoint on your user side. Do you anticipate that individuals that use different modalities for that are not generated at the radio that are Windows related will have trouble with Windows 11? Any discussion amongst the administrators with Quadnet Array? Should we just stick with Windows 10 for now? Over.
Actually, no, we hadn't had a discussion, anything on the Windows 11 segment of it yet. I don't think we have much to present for that right now, but I think we only we've only experienced the in Windows 10 some of the applications on Windows 10, but mainly we're Linux hosts. But it can come up in if we it can come up in a discussion if we get more requests to look into something like that. So that's kind of the way we do things at the Quadnet org here. If we get a lot of requests for a certain application or something, we'll look into it. So that's something we haven't been getting a lot of requests about on the Windows side. It mainly focus on the Linux side of the house. Oh, by the way, and we are in test mode right now. We just bridged over a talk group from TGIF. Talk group TGIF 196 is also bridged over into the Quadnet area. And so we're doing some more updates like that. And future other futures we may be testing M17, the GMR coming in here too as well. But other than that, I hope I answered your question there, Jake. W4WW.
Well, thank you, Will. I guess the question was sort of personal since I'm operating Blue TV through dongle, but if I run into trouble, I'll make sure to have another computer available running Windows 10 and pass along the information if it is pertinent. And I've forgotten, of course, your limit space. Thank you for the explanation. Thank you for stopping by. In light of Will and Will's explanations of today and in the past, little housekeeping is in order. Make sure, since we're on the QuadNet array, which is a series of servers, and you've got repeaters in the system, and everything's got a sync. So make sure when you end your conversation or start your conversation, don't tailgate, pause before you talk. Let everything sync along the system so that the QuadNet array can properly transcode effectively your transmission to others. Let me let it drop one. Once again, this is the Medical Amateur Radio Council Digital Voice Net that meets every Saturday at 1500 UTC. Are there any other check-ins? Please make your call to Net Control AA4 FL at this time. There's nothing else heard. Yeah, well, personally, I had a chance to meet with the epidemiologist who's going to speak on the grand rounds of the air tomorrow and answer questions. And I got an opportunity to ask her some questions on what's happening in COVID and if there's certain studies in the works to determine what the overall infectivity exposure has been to children when it was quiet, whether there weren't any symptoms, if there's any gauge in that community. And the discussion was pretty much, well, there's studies, but they're not really released yet. This is an ongoing work in progress, as many of you know. And history will really write the details of how COVID has progressed. She will be on though to talk about the molecular epidemiology and the research that's going on and such. So tomorrow on HF 14.342, 1500 UTC for those of you without HF. Chip, then we'll have it on MarcoAudio.net and you can listen to the audio stream. Thank you for everyone's interest and support. Me trying some of the techniques of the net here. Drop one. So tomorrow during the grand rounds, we'll actually be using NetLogger for the first time, just as more of a method of getting questions. Yes, we'll do check-ins, but we use the instant message window for individuals going to see who's proposed questions to the speaker, to the professor that will be a guest of the station. And of course, I'll be the control operator for that endeavor. I will also do the check-in. People can see the other stations are checking. It's very problematic on HF with all the relays. It's easy to miss or be misinterpreted and make an incorrect entry. And since I don't run them that regularly, having eyes on the prize there is very helpful. So I look forward to tomorrow operating from W4DFU at the University of Florida. First station in the roundtable, Jack, KD4IZ. Good morning, Jack. Tell us a little bit of life from your perspective there, North Carolina. Excuse me. You're not North Carolina. Are you from Virginia or Maryland? I'm getting so conflated today. Go ahead, Jack. Well, I am in Maryland. I am from North Carolina originally. My connection to Virginia is just passing through on the way from one place to another. Anyway, all that being said, we're doing good here. Susie is still being overworked and underpaid and trying to take care of the kids as they come in. They've got quite a few that have come in and a number who have wound up in critical care with COVID problems. Many of them are high BMI individuals with other medical issues, but still, it seems that whatever is going on now has calmed down. It's just that we've got a portion of the population that has resisted all attempts to get them to address the issues with COVID properly. And they're the folks that are having the problems. Sad but true. The good news is I've been very active out getting around doing as much work as I can around the place, try to get an antenna in the air, the camera. Hopefully that project will wrap up in the next month here. That way I can focus on other things as far as the hobby side is concerned. And, also spending a bit of time up doing trail maintenance on the Appalachian Trail. So, life in a nutshell, the residents up here in Maryland. Katie Flores, I think. Well, thank you for the terrapin perspective with a flare from Chapel Hill. I can see why I can say that. I always think of you in terms of UNC and your dad being in the area there. And thank you for the report from Susie. If she's available tomorrow, Jack, it'd be wonderful if you could have her in the shack on HF and participate in that. Since we do have someone that she might have pertinent questions for input for the net. Is that possible for tomorrow, Jack? AA4. It's possible. I don't know. She decided to go to a book fair this morning. I don't know exactly when she'll be back, but I'll certainly ask Jay. Don't count on it, but it may happen. Katie Forrest. Again, thank you very much. I hope she's enjoying her day out, and if time allows for her and there's an interest that she can participate in that, that would be wonderful. I'm not sure, do you usually, being such short hop from Florida, are you usually able to copy Warren? Or? Yes, I am. Warren is usually quite strong. I don't have too much trouble Florida on 20 meters. That's where I usually check in. And, I do plan to be there, so we'll see how things go. But Jay, I imagine since I don't have too much trouble getting in and out of Florida, I don't think where you're there at Rockford is that far north. I could get into Georgia as well, which is good news. Well, thank you, Jack. And for others that are here on the propagation pattern should be fairly similar tomorrow to Warren, so we are not very far. The bird flies probably 100 miles from Warren, and similar power levels, maybe more. I don't know how much she uses. It's linear. And it should be a very satisfying and interesting session, and it's sort of bringing some of the topics from this net onto the grand rounds where we talk about COVID, at least from a standpoint of epidemiology. Next on the list, Keith, M3IM. Good morning, Keith. How are you doing? Go ahead.
AA4FL and the Marco Group. This is M3IM. We're doing okay right now. We're having a rather significant storm, so I'm not going to stay on very long. We've had rainfalls as high as 6 to 7 inches an hour. lasting for maybe 20 minutes or so, but we've had almost a half inch of rain this morning, and we're getting thunder and lightning. So as far as COVID around here, we're pretty much wide open, and there's a few places. The hospitals still require masks to enter, but they're allowing more visitors. We have a friend who's in a care area that was out with his family for the first time in about a year because of the COVID, and so we're pretty open up here right now. We just had the Flaming Foliage Festival and had a big parade, and everybody enjoyed that. That happens in Renova every year in October. And that's about it from here. This is N3IM, and back to AA4FL and the Marco Group.
Thank you for fighting the thunderstorms and stopping in and saying hello, Keith. We understand that you won't be able to stay with us. We don't want to have your station be affected by the electrical activity or your person. So thank you again for your participation as always, Keith. We'll look forward to talking to you tomorrow on HF. Hopefully the storms will pass through the area by then. N9OML, excuse me, first Howard. Go ahead, Howard.
Hey, for Phil and everybody on the net, good morning. Hope it finds everybody well today. I haven't really been able to learn how much about COVID in the greater Chicago and rural Illinois area. Believe it or not, all the COVID news in Chicago is focused on silliness and shenanigans as the mayor attempted to impose a mandatory vaccine requirement, which of course was met head on with the fire and police unions absolutely called bananas. And crazy as it is, they were in court last night getting injunctive relief, trying to get the Fraternal Order of Police president enjoined not to speak about it any further in public, and all the rest of the fallout both ways, their suits and countersuits. The state of Illinois has similar mandates, and they're facing similar issues that they haven't not quite turned into the circus in court that the Chicago issue has. So, unfortunately, the health aspect of it does not seem to be the lead of the Center of Energy on this one, or the media coverage. On a more personal note, I haven't really been doing a whole bunch of research or reading. I re-injured a knee that is initially injured in '89, and then had them pull out about 50 cc's of bloody but clear synovial fluid. Injected with cortisone, so I'm hobbling and hurting, and didn't really do any looking into anything for this week's net. On the football front, one of my degrees is from the University of Cincinnati, so if we happen to make it still to bowls, maybe I'll be able to talk with you guys as we go Bearcats. But other than maybe the Army-Navy game, I don't think there's as much attention in college football anywhere as there is to the SEC, so I have to leave that to you guys. And with that, I'll say 73. I'll be monitoring the rest of that. My question to you is on that, Marco.net to be able to catch the live stream. Is that also available on demand? Did I understand that correctly, or is it only during the stream? Thank you, Jay.
AA4FL, the Marco Digital Voice Net. No, there's an archive. So you not only can you go and back and review these sessions, but also the Grand Round on the Air sessions and many of the Marco nets on COVID, which HF done on COVID. So, Jeff, I'll let you explain that to Howard, if you would, and 5RTF.
This is N5RTF. For I guess about the last 6 years, I have been streaming on the internet the audio of our Grand Rounds net, and I've added in the last 2 years the COVID nets, and more recently this digital net. Although I'm not doing it today because of location, but I find an audio source that has good quality, usually part of the Kiwi SDR net, and then bring that into Michael like this is a Raspberry Pi running Linux, process it, and send it back out to an audio streaming service on the internet. Wait one. That allows up to 100 users to sign in at the same time and listen to the same audio stream. At the same time, I'm recording it in digital form and can upload that as an archive file. And I have 8 gigabytes of online storage that I can use for that. So we've got a lot of these nets are organized by date, and you can go to the page listed in the ether and find an archive going back probably about 5 years now, and listen to any of those nets that you want to. Some are better quality than others, but that's purely propagation. N5RTF clear.
N5RTF, AS4FL, thank you very much for the comprehensive description and for all the work that goes into making this possible. It's gargantuan task, and we can tell you're very creative, and you're using technologies to their utmost, so we do appreciate that. Okay. Sure, the net will continue to evolve in the way it's distributed, in the way we interact, and I know you've got a task group that's looking at the future of the net and the way that it's implemented, so thank you for that as well. Going down the list here, Andy, WJ8B.
Well, good morning, everybody on the net. Nice sunny day here. Rained hard all night long, but I slept right through it. A little bit of lightning and thunder so reported, but it wasn't enough to wake me up. So I can see that rain is in Pennsylvania now, so I understand what's going on there. Today is a bye day for football for Ohio State. And although I am also, besides a Ohio State graduate, I'm a University of Cincinnati graduate as well. I went to medical school there between 1974 and 78. So football was a little on the back burner today for me, so not as much. We had a little trouble getting TV feeds from University of Cincinnati, Columbus. It happens sometimes, but not all the time. So COVID here locally is still unacceptably high levels, particularly in rural Ohio. I've mentioned before, my daughter is an ICU nurse in a small city called Athens, where Ohio University is at, and they're making her work 60 hours a week, and her 12-bed ICU has usually got 8 or 9 COVID patients in it at all times, and they're even having trouble hiring travel nurses at $5,000 a week, so it's been difficult from that standpoint. And also read in the newspaper somewhere that Ohio is the 4th most dangerous state for COVID at the moment, and that's sad, knowing that that's true in my locale. So, it's not as big an issue in the bigger cities because we have more facilities, but still not a good enough vaccination rate. Where my youngest son lives, they're very high, actually, in California, so we may travel there in the near future. We haven't decided about that yet. So good to hear everybody on the net, and I'll send it back to you, Jay, from WJ8.
Oh, thank you, Andy. And for Howard and Andy, Cincinnati deserves to be in the running for the bowl game, for the major bowl games, the championships, and hopefully they win out, and that becomes a philosophical discussion about other teams. The fact that the Gators almost beat Alabama in games, well, now they turn around and lost, and Texas A&M opens probably the doors up to Cincinnati if they win through. Anyway, addressing college football, Thank you for everybody that's putting up with this discussion during the night. But it is Saturday here, and that's one of the themes of the day. Chip, M5RTF, are you an Ole Miss fan or an LSU fan? I know the answer, but why don't you clarify first?
Well, Terry and I are both Ole Miss fans. She went to the college itself in Oxford. I went to the medical school for 4 years and have that diploma. Um, and even though I hold a minor teaching position at LSU, I really care nothing at all about their sports program. So I will stick with with the one that brought me. Uh, right now, we're focused primarily on our new KTH. Yesterday, we bought another 2 lots to our south. That brings us up to 3/4 of an acre of waterfront property. So we've got room now, potentially to put up a Delta loop on 80 meters, and I think I'm probably going to look into getting some poles permanently installed for that soon. I don't know how long that'll take though. But we're enjoying it. It's beautiful. Put on long sleeves for the first time since last March today in my RTF.
Congratulations on the new KTH, Chip. For those of you that aren't familiar with Chip lived in the past, it was an dense French Quarter, and I think the antenna was basically fiberglass fishing pole and a wire, being as creative as possible. So this is quite a different experience, and it sounds like a beautiful existence as well as a great ham radio CPH. Congratulations, Chip. Chip, I know after the hurricane, COVID sort of lessened in the consciousness of others in the New Orleans area. What's the status right now? Is it much in the public discussion? Over.
Well, in New Orleans, COVID has hit us pretty hard, not just from the disease itself, but we're a tourist-based economy, and the tourism has just been way down. Hotels are not all open. The restaurants are working at part capacity. People are not working. They're staying home. There's help wanted signs everywhere, but they can't get people to work. So the whole thing is just a disaster for a town that depends on a steady flow of tourists to survive in 5RTF.
QSL understood. What other industries? I mean, do you have the oil industry in the general vicinity, which seems to be benefiting from price increases? What other industries other than any high tech? What else is in the New Orleans area? Over.
Just tourism and food are probably the two main things that we're known for. We have a lot of fishing, a lot of seafood, big seafood industry, and of course our music. But as far as anything to, yeah, Jerry just mentioned the port. We are a port of entry. If you notice, the news says that ports like Los Angeles are backed up. We're not. I think that we've got all the help we need down here to keep stuff moving into the country. So being a major seaport is also one of our strong points. We don't have a lot of oil industry. We do have offshore platforms, but all the corporate oil has moved to Houston in 5RTF.
QSL, just N5 RTF with AA4FL. net control. That's sometimes we tend to respond to the medical side of COVID, and not that we forget about it, but we have to realize that the transition to the impact of the medical expression of COVID on the economy is primary to many individuals that do not actually get the disease themselves. So we do appreciate hearing his perspective from there. And we also realize that sometimes challenges are met by opportunity, and perhaps some good will come out of it. Okay. We'll just have to monitor the times and help everybody as much as we can. Are you around, Steve, in case we have the event to use at a time where you can come to the microphone? Steve is busy with Sales on the Air here today and being 40 meter support for them. Any other comments or questions that you'd like to direct? Please do so to Net Control AA 4 Well, nothing else heard. Kind of a quiet net today, and we'll have to find some ways to stimulate activities to bring importance other than just COVID, because COVID is quieting down the net. But perhaps with Chip and I can brainstorm and figure out a way to maybe make it more attractive. We don't want to lose our ability to have a digital voice. You have to have a certain amount of individuals participating to bring importance or significance to it. Of course, we can always have a social gathering, and that's nice as well. But from an organizational standpoint, to stimulate individuals to get on the DV modes, we have to give them a reason. So, for those of you that are not tired of hearing my voice, tomorrow the Grand Rounds of the Year, I'll be net control, and it will be experimentation for me. I've never been net control for an HF net, so hopefully some of the lessons heard, accomplished here will come through. And having listened to Warren do it for many years, you certainly know what success is. Again, any other comments before I bring the net to a close? Go ahead and make your call.
And I don't know.
Go ahead, Howard, and I know what calling out.
I don't know if there's been any influenza activity as of yet. And I didn't check the CDC site to find out. I didn't think of it until just now. But it might be something to keep an eye on and discuss down the line. And I don't know, net control. Thank you.
Well, thank you for the question. Tomorrow, I know, Howard, you were going to listen on the audio stream to the Grand Rounds net. So with the epidemiologist there, certainly you might want to submit a question. Since you can't do it by HF, I'll try to bring my personal email up on the screen. Either that or NetLogger, one or the other. If you don't have NetLogger, I'll try to pass along a question to her for her to respond to. And if you would just bring that up during the net, that would be helpful. I don't know how many individuals are going to submit questions, so having her there, we really do need questions that can be answered. Would that be possible for you, Howard? And I know I'm out, AA4 as well.
Yeah, it should be. I'll do my best to get it.
Thank you. Any other comments or suggestions before we bring the next to a close of the AA4FL? Well, thank you for everyone participating, and thanks again to the Quad Data Array for making this possible through their technology. And we couldn't do it without John Digital Voice. The members that we have do use different methods, digital modes for communicating. Nice to have the transcoding. Thank you guys. And I would like to wish everyone a nice, happy weekend. The weather affected areas. Hope couple pastors can get a clear Sunday. 7-3, guys. I'm going to bring the net to a close here, and we'll see you next week operating from South Florida, from Delray Beach. This is AA4FL operating from Hawthorne, Florida today, and 7-3, and bringing the digital voice net to a close in the Medical Image Radio Council. I will be on for a few more minutes to answer any questions or comments of a personal nature. 7-3 all.
AA4FL and 9OML.
And 9OML, AA4FL, go ahead, Howard.
Yeah, Jay, I did answer your question. When I unkeyed, I heard you end of the net, so obviously I didn't get in. I'll reduce a long answer to a real short one. Yes, I'll send you a written version of that question. I don't know what happened, but obviously my long answer didn't make it, which may be better. Back to you.
Yeah, for some reason I lost you. I'm not sure if it was on my end or if I doubled with other people. Doubled with you and other people because I'm not monitoring it in any other way. And thank you once again for participating and look forward to your question tomorrow, Howard. Over.
Do you particularly want it tomorrow during the net, or if I draft it and send it now, if that's less helpful because you gotta find it? Just tell me what works best for you.
You know, why don't you craft it in the context of the moment and the way the discussion is going? See if that becomes an issue, and you might find that that changes slightly based on Dr. Prin's presentation. Over. Very well, that's no problem at all. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, and enjoy your football day, although in the dial. The big day for me will be tomorrow with the Bears-Packers game, which of course is a religious holiday in Chicago. It's been a difficult religious holiday of late, but nonetheless, it's a rivalry game. So you take care. I appreciate it. I enjoyed the net. It wasn't as technical as some, but it was so pleasant. So I appreciate your time and everybody's effort. And I don't know, 73. 7-3. Good talking to you, Howard. Look forward to tomorrow. AA4FL is going to go clear unless anyone else would like to say hello. AA4FL, QRT.
A for FL, copy Papa Yankee 2, Bravo, Bravo, Quebec. Just arrived at home. I think too late. Are you still there? Over.